The San Antonio Spurs aren't just winning, they're breaking the game. The rules, the math, the very idea that 30 teams are supposed to compete on equal footing. They started the season 5-0, and the rest of the NBA is scrambling. The Spurs are not merely winning games, they are systematically dismantling conventional defensive strategies, exposing structural flaws in roster construction across the Western Conference, and redefining what a championship contender can look like in the modern era. Victor Wembanyama isn't just a player, he's a glitch. Stephon Castle isn't just a sophomore, he's a weapon. Sean Sweeney's defense, a damn war crime. And GM Brian Wright's roster construction, pure disruption. This isn't a rebuild, this is a hostile takeover. And if you think I'm overreacting, just stick with me. Let's start with the glitch in the Matrix, Victor Wembanyama. The story begins on October 22nd, 2025 in Dallas, where the Spurs defeated the Mavericks 120-109 in a season opener that immediately rewrote preseason expectations and sent shockwaves through front offices across the league. Wemby scored 40 points, 15 boards, and had 7 dunks. 7. A Cooper Flag debut ruined. A national TV massacre. And with those 40 points, Wemby now holds the Spurs franchise record for points in an opener, surpassing the legendary George Iceman Gervin's previous mark of 39. Last year, Wemby was elite but manageable. Finesse, fades, 1.8 dunks per game. This year, he's attacking like a freight train with Wi-Fi. 7 dunks in one night. 7. DeMarcus Cousins lost his mind on his podcast. Bro, just give him MVP now. Ain't nobody touching this kid. Moreover, his 3-point attempts are down from 8.8 per game last year to 3.2 this year, exactly what the fans want to see. Wemby attacking the rim more. The Athletic broke it down. Wembanyama's offense is evolving into something unguardable, because no one's ever had to guard this before. Let's pause on that. No one's ever had to guard a 7'4" alien who dribbles like a point guard, fades like Dirk, and blocks like Prime Mutombo. The NBA rulebook wasn't written for this. They're going to have to change the game to stop him, and they know it. While Wembanyama's offensive renaissance has rightfully stolen headlines, it's his defensive maturation that truly cements the Spurs as a league-altering force, turning the paint into a no-man's land where even the most dominant bigs are reduced to afterthoughts. In his first 4 games, Wemby logged 20 blocks, including a sequence against New Orleans where he swatted Zion Williams 4 times in rapid succession, making the 6'6", 284-pound powerhouse look like a novice probing a forbidden zone. This wasn't mere coincidence, it's the fruit of an offseason bulk up that added roughly 30 pounds to his frame, transforming him from a lanky, pushable 7-footer to an immovable anchor who holds his ground like prime Giannis, forcing defenders to rethink bullying tactics and opponents to abandon their drives altogether. Wemby now holds his position against physicality, splitting double teams with between the legs dribbles before exploding for rejections that register as high as 12 feet off the rim, a blend of length, timing, and newfound strength that has Anthony Davis, one of the league's premier rim protectors for a decade, appearing helpless on switches and help rotations. The Spurs allow just 4.2 points per possession in the restricted area with Wemby on the floor, the lowest mark in the NBA, as his 9.5 blocks per 36 minutes deter 22% fewer paint touches league-wide. This isn't just shot blocking, it's psychological warfare. For Sean Sweeney's system, Wemby's evolution is the ultimate force multiplier. His deterrence allows seamless switching without fear of easy lobs, elevating role players like Stephon Castle into all-defense territory while propelling San Antonio's net rating to plus 14.5, top in the league. At 21, this defensive leap isn't a fluke. It's the arrival of the Wemby everyone feared, one that could redefine rim protection for a generation and force the NBA to adapt or perish. But here's where it gets illegal. Wemby's erasing offenses. 9 blocks against New Orleans. 9. Opponents shoot 13.2% worse at the rim when he's within 10 feet. That's not defense, that's a force field. That figure ranks him in the 99th percentile league-wide and underscores his growing dominance as a help defender. Think about the historical context. The last time the league faced a player this disruptive? Shaq in the late 90s. Hack-a-Shaq was born because teams had no answer. But Shaq was 7'1", 300 plus pounds, and couldn't shoot past 15 feet. Wemby, he's 7'4", 235, and can pull up from the logo after crossing half court. Shaq forced rule tweaks. Wemby's going to force a full rewrite. Every possession with Wemby on the floor is a choose your poison nightmare. Double him, he kicks to Vassell or Harper for open threes. Sag off, he rises over you like a skyscraper. Help at the rim, he lobs to Castle cutting baseline. It's not fair. It's not supposed to be possible, but it's happening, and the league is panicking. This offensive evolution is not occurring in isolation. It's the product of intentional development that began immediately after last season's disappointing 22-60 finish. Wembanyama spent the summer working with head coach Mitch Johnson on footwork drills derived from Kevin Durant's arsenal, incorporating hesitation dribbles, sidesteps, and one dribble pull-ups into his repertoire. The result is a player who can now initiate offense from the top of the key, draw double teams 25 feet from the basket, and either rise for a contested three or explode past recovering defenders for a dunk. This spacing gravity is unprecedented for a center. Historically, only Nikola Jokic has generated comparable offensive attention from the high post, but Jokic operates at 6'11" and 284 pounds with a slower first step. Wembanyama combines that gravity with elite vertical spacing and transition speed, clocking in at 19.8 miles per hour in the open floor per second spectrum. Zoom out from the individual brilliance for a second, because Wemby doesn't win alone. He breaks the game because the Spurs built a system that amplifies the glitch. Enter assistant coach Sweeney, the defensive madman who turned Wemby into a walking extinction event. You think I'm dramatic? Watch the tape. Against Brooklyn, the Nets were tamed on offense. How? Sweeney's scheme isn't zone, it isn't man. It's Wemby-centric chaos. Funnel drives to the alien. Switch everything else. Let Castle and Vassell hunt on the perimeter while Wemby erases the paint. And the numbers? Opponents are driving 22% less when Wemby's on the floor. They'd rather chuck contested threes than test the rim. That's not strategy, that's surrender. Sweeney's system is built on 3 pillars: length, switching, and deterrence. Pillar 1, length. Every starter is 6'6" or taller, with wingspans that look like NBA Jam cheats. Castle's arms reach the second row. Vassell's closeouts swallow shooters. Wemby, his standing reach is 9 feet 7 inches, higher than the rim itself. Pillar 2, switching. The Spurs switch 1 through 5 seamlessly. Watch the Pelicans game. Zion posts up Castle and Castle doesn't flinch. He bumps, mirrors, and forces a travel. It's not just athleticism, it's discipline. Sweeney drills this in practice. Switch early, recover late, trust the length. Pillar 3, deterrence. This is the psychological warfare. Teams know Wemby's lurking, so they hesitate. They pump fake, they pass up layups, and when they do attack, Wemby meets them at the summit. 9 blocks in one game isn't luck, it's a message. Come at the king, you best not miss. San Antonio currently allows the fewest points in the restricted area per possession since the metric's inception in 2013-14, a testament to Sweeney's funnel and trap philosophy that turns every drive into a high-risk proposition. The Toronto game was the ultimate flex, 121-103, holding the Raptors to 38% shooting despite Scottie Barnes dropping 28. How? Wemby altered 14 shots at the rim. Castle forced 3 turnovers on inbounds. Vassell locked up RJ Barrett in the 4th. It's not one star carrying a team, it's a system that turns every possession into a trap. This defensive dominance is made possible by a roster that GM Brian Wright has constructed with surgical precision over the past 18 months, leveraging high draft capital, strategic trades, and developmental patience to create a unit that's greater than the sum of its parts. The foundation was laid in the 2023 draft with the selection of Wembanyama at number 1, followed by Castle at number 4 in 2024, a pick that yielded the reigning Rookie of the Year who has already elevated his game to all-defense caliber. Castle's impact was immediate in the opener, where he posted 22 points on 9 of 15 shooting, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists while finishing with a plus 24 plus-minus, the highest on the team, and a reflection of his ability to impact winning on both ends. His two-way versatility allows Sweeney to deploy him on ball handlers from point guards to power forwards without compromising the scheme. as evidenced by his containment of Kyrie Irving in the second half of the Dallas game, where he forced 3 turnovers and limited Irving to 2 of 8 shooting when guarded directly. Locked On Spurs podcast host Jeff Garcia noted in a post-game episode, "Castle is no longer a rookie. He's a foundational piece who makes Wembanyama's help defense possible by taking on the toughest perimeter assignment every night." In the whirlwind of the Spurs' early start, it's easy to fixate on Wembanyama's otherworldly exploits or Sweeney schematic wizardry. But Dylan Harper's meteoric rise off the bench demands equal scrutiny as a pivotal piece of San Antonio's disruptive puzzle. Selected second overall in the 2025 NBA draft out of Rutgers, where he averaged 22.5 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 4.8 assists as a freshman phenom, Harper entered the league with whispers of all-star upside, but no guarantees of immediate impact. Yet, against Brooklyn, he erupted for 20 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds in just 29 minutes, shooting an eye-popping 8 of 11 from the field, including 3 pull-up threes that stretched the floor and punished the Nets' overhelping rotations. A recent video captures the astonishment perfectly. Dylan Harper shouldn't be this good, this soon. Outlines how his buttery handle, vision on the move, and 6'6" frame with a 7-foot wingspan allow him to dissect defenses like a veteran point forward, drawing comparisons to a young Scottie Pippen for his seamless transition from scorer to facilitator. What elevates Harper beyond raw talent is his basketball IQ. In his game against the Nets, he orchestrated a game-changing sequence by blocking Cam Thomas at the rim, sprinting the floor in transition, and whipping a no-look pass to Keldon Johnson for an and-one dunk, a play that flipped momentum in a double-digit comeback. Scouts and analysts have noted his 40% college three-point shooting has translated seamlessly, forcing opponents to guard him at every level and preventing the collapse on Wembanyama that plagued San Antonio last season. Harper's efficiency and defensive activity placed him in the 95th percentile among first-year players historically, with his ability to space the floor and guard multiple positions adding another layer to Sweeney's switching scheme. At 19 years old, Harper isn't just contributing, he's accelerating the Spurs' timeline, embodying the youth movement that's turning a perennial lottery team into a league-breaking force. And if that trajectory holds, he could be the second star in a duo that redefines the franchise for a generation. The roster's crowning achievement came at the February 2025 trade deadline, when Wright orchestrated a 3-team deal that landed De'Aaron Fox from Sacramento. The Spurs surrendered forward Robbie Sissoko, 2 future first-round picks, and a pick swap to Chicago, while sending Devontae Graham and a protected first to the Kings. In return, they acquired Fox, a 26-year-old all-star averaging 27 points and 6 assists last season, whose speed and vertical spacing create gravity that complements Wembanyama's interior dominance and opens driving lanes for Castle and Vassell. Remarkably, the Spurs have achieved their 5-0 start without Fox, who remained sidelined with a hamstring strain suffered in the preseason. Coach Mitch Johnson confirmed that Fox is progressing through individual drills and expected to return within the next week, stating, "When De'Aaron is cleared, our transition game and half-court execution will reach another level entirely." Supporting pieces have also exceeded projections and contributed to the early surge. Devin Vassell is averaging 16.8 points on 48% shooting while anchoring the perimeter defense with 1.2 steals per game. Keldon Johnson contributed 19 points in the Brooklyn blowout and has locked in as a constant double-digit scorer every single night, bringing relentless energy and clutch buckets that fuel the Spurs' early season surge. Julian Champagnie has been a spark off the bench, delivering steady production and dead-eye spacing that forces defenses to stay home, preventing double teams on Wembanyama, and keeping the paint wide open for the aliens' attacks. Even with injuries to Jeremy Sohan and Lindy Waters III, the Spurs have maintained depth and cohesion, a testament to Wright's foresight in balancing youth with veteran mentorship from Harrison Barnes, who's averaging solid numbers while mentoring Harper on pick-and-roll reads. The cumulative effect is a team that leads the league in net rating at plus 14.5, a position last held by the Spurs in 2016-17 during their final playoff run with Kawhi Leonard. Their October 27th demolition of Toronto, 121-103, saw them hold the Raptors to 38% shooting, with Wemby altering 14 shots at the rim, Castle forcing 3 turnovers on inbound plays, and Vassell locking up RJ Barrett on 6 straight possessions in the fourth quarter. This performance earned Wembanyama Western Conference Player of the Week honors, the first such award for a Spur since the 2019-20 season, and a recognition of his league-leading 33.3 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 6 block per game averages. This dominance carries broader implications for the league's competitive landscape that extend far beyond San Antonio. Small ball lineups, popularized by Golden State and Houston over the past decade, are being neutralized by San Antonio's length and switching versatility, forcing coaches to reconsider pace and space principles. Super teams reliant on star isolation are finding their spacing compromised by Wembanyama's help defense and the Spurs' ability to rotate without leaving shooters open. The Thunder, preseason favorites in the West with their elite depth and SGA's MVP candidacy, now face a direct stylistic counter in the Spurs' size, rim protection, and transition defense. The Lakers and Golden State have already begun internal discussions about roster adjustments, with league sources reporting that both franchises are exploring trades for length and defensive versatility to counter San Antonio's blueprint. The question is no longer whether the Spurs are contenders, it's whether the NBA's current rules, salary cap structure, and officiating tendencies can accommodate a team this structurally advantaged without necessitating league-wide adaptation. The Spurs' early success is not without precedent in franchise history. The 2013-14 championship team relied on veteran execution, Tim Duncan's anchored defense, and Greg Popovich's system. But the combination of youth, system, and superstar trajectory in this iteration is unprecedented in the modern salary cap era. If Fox returns at full strength, and if the young core continues its accelerated development under Sweeney and Johnson, San Antonio projects as a top 3 seed in the West with a realistic path to the conference finals and potentially beyond. The data supports this assertion through advanced metrics like EPM, where the Spurs rank first in defensive EPM and third in offensive EPM, and the league, for the first time in years, is on notice that the balance of power may be shifting permanently. The San Antonio Spurs are not just winning games, they are breaking basketball as we know it. One possession, one switch, one impossible Wembanyama block at a time. The question for the remaining part of the season is simple. Can the rest of the NBA adapt before it's too late?